But notice the language he uses, right? I think there should be a law, but there isn't one, right? So he was actually wrong, and it was just his idea that this should not happen, that this was a crazy idea, this couldn't possibly be true, that led him to completely discount the perfectly valid scientific result that had been presented to him by Chandrasekhar. And it was really unfortunate because actually, of course, Chandrasekhar was right, but because Eddington was so well known and influential and considered so clever, everyone listened to him. And so the whole scientific community just rejected this idea that Chandrasekhar had. And it was 40 years later, 40 years, before this idea was kind of revived and shown to be correct. So it was a kind of a big setback for science. And of course, you can actually speculate a bit about the fact that Chandrasekhar, being an Indian, was there an element of racism in this dismissal of his idea? I think that's certainly a possibility, and it was certainly something that he felt was the case, which is why he left the UK and went to the US. But it was definitely a prejudice against how we think that our universe should work, right? We have these very strong prejudices about this is how our universe is and it can't behave another way. And this led, as I say, to this idea being sadly discounted. So even with this idea about stars having to collapse inevitably into black holes at the end of their life, the real proof that a black hole is not a crazy idea is experiment, right? Is observation.